Hi, you're listening to Abacadabra Radio. I'm Abby, your host, and on this podcast, we talk about manifestations, meditations, timeline jumping, tarot card insights, astrological insights, literally whatever comes up. Happy to have you guys here for the ride. Hello, my friends. Here we are back with yet another episode. This is part 2 of last week's episode about timeline shifting, about the film strip, about how I have implemented that and how it's worked for me. And it's worked for me. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you want to go listen to that one. It was called Film Reel Timeline Shifting Part 1, episode 38. So here we are, episode 39. I have utilized that film reel technique a few times, and it's had some pretty awesome results, I'd say. So after I recorded that podcast, I don't think I talked about it in that one. I think this happened either the next day or the same day. I can't remember. I went into meditation. No, it wasn't. It was definitely after that podcast was recorded, because that was like right after I had that realization. So I went into meditation. I was listening to a Bashar talk, and he went into this think outside the box meditation. It was like in a talk that I found on YouTube. It was awesome. I think it's called Think Outside of the Box, Bashar or whatever. So like if you want to look into that. Highly recommend. And Bashar goes into this guided meditation that I was like, oh yeah, I could do it. I'll just do it while I'm listening. And you go and you have like a clear box, you could see the inside of it, and you put your thoughts into that box. And that was what really got me into, like, I have felt 0 point field energy before of like everything is neutral, everything is allowed, and my mind is blank. But this was another level on this particular time that I did it. I haven't been able to get quite to that like very, 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 very clear spot for as long as the time that I did when I did that first time. But it was awesome. So my mind was clear, and I started to think of myself as that like film strip and how I'm shifting constantly, and I really felt into that like feeling of shifting constantly, and I felt like my whole like being, not just my body, my whole being was just shifting and vibrating through different realities at every second. Now, before I started that, my throat was bothering me, and I was like, oh shoot, maybe I caught my niece's cold, because she had a cold and her throat was bugging her, and I was with her a few days before, so I was like, maybe I got that. I really don't know. It could be anything. So I wanted to play around. I was in the neutral field, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna feel into this. And I was like, let's shift out of this discomfort or scratchiness in my throat. And I was like, okay, I shifted into the mindset of everything is exactly the same, but I am shifting into a reality where my throat is eased. And I saw my throat, like I looked at it and I saw it being like red and just getting like clear. And I am not fucking around when I say it worked. And I know that sounds insane. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds weird. It worked. It did. I shifted out of it. And it didn't come back. And then it did come back yesterday. And then I did it again. I did the same technique. And I did it again. And I shifted out of it. And it went away. Maybe it was a placebo effect. You know, I'm not like... I don't know. But I was excited about it. And maybe that experience was just to really prove to me, like, yeah, you can shift. You can mindfully shift. And it was weird because, like, I feel like when it comes to, like, quantum leaping or shifting timelines or consciously doing things, I don't know about you guys, but I've had in my mind that it needs to feel like this big shift and, like, a big aha moment, and it doesn't. Like, it felt very, very subtle, and it felt natural. So when you get into this sort of like conscious shifting, don't look for something that's so out of the realm of possibility for your own brain that you need to have a big monumental shift and feel this big crazy thing. Like, it is a subtle shift. It is not something that has to feel big and magical. It's going to feel, actually, it's going to feel more natural. It's supposed to feel more natural, which is why you go into the neutral state where everything is allowed. And that's where it's like the easiest to manifest, because everything's allowed. So it's very, very easy to move in that field to like something that also feels natural. So a key in that shifting timeline is, or consciously shifting timelines is, let it be natural. And when you get into the mindset of like, I am always shifting, I am constantly shifting, and feel into that, and take a few days to feel into that, or at least a few hours to like feel into that feeling of like, you are always shifting. You are in a film reel, and every reality is a different still, and you are just going into a different still at every millisecond, like so many times a second, like you can't even fathom it. Like there are an infinite number too of realities that you are shifting into at all times, and every reality, like, think about how like a picture, like a photo or like a painting, it's a still that elicits an emotion. Now, in every infinite reality, you are going to be in a still, in a painting, in a photo, in a paused video, I don't know, that is a vibratory frequency of like one thing. Hopefully this makes sense. I'm like trying to explain it well. It'll work for whoever needs to hear it. And you can shift. It's going to be a lot easier to shift from when you're really... Shifting when you're angry is tough. Shifting when you're depressed is tough. You're just better off feeling those feelings, not trying to shift out of them. We are not spiritual bypassing. We are not feeling what we are going through, okay? So, and I will get back to the throat thing in a second, because that reminded me that, like, I did... Anyway, I digress. You can jump from a feeling of, like, content to, like, happy, and then from happy to, like, maybe, like, excited or giddy or, like, laughing, and then to, like, really happy, really pumped. Like, do a gradual shift from the reality you're in right now. The reality I'm in right now is very, like, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content. It's nothing crazy. But I can either go, like, backslide or move up the vibrational scale. It doesn't matter. It's my choice, and it changes constantly. We are changing constantly. Life is dynamic. But if you can think of it in terms of, like, every still, every film strip has a different vibratory frequency with it, which one do you want to go to? Do you want to go to one that is abundant? Do you want to go to one that is free? Do you want to go to one that is safe? And then feel that feeling. And start with the feeling and feel it first and think like, okay, I am feeling safe. And I am safe here. And then look for evidence that you're safe. I'm safe here in my reality, in my film strip right now, because I am in a warm room. It's raining outside. I'm not wet. I'm dry. I am on a chair. I feel very secure. I feel very grounded. I'm in clothing I feel safe in. I'm in a job that I feel very content and safe in. Like, there is so many things that, like, I started with the feeling of safety, and now I'm looking for, like, yes, I, like, am affirming that in my reality. If you want abundance, all right, we're shifting into abundance, okay? So, abundance, how does that, like, feel into that? Feel that feeling of abundance. Why are you abundant? Right now, I am recording this on my lunch break at work. I have an abundance of threads. I have an abundance of work to do. There is an abundance of flow coming through me because, like, as jobs come in and go out, like, I am a conduit for abundance, for just things to continue to move through me. There's an abundance of water outside. I have, like, the feeling of abundance to me is just, like, lots and many and ease, and looking for evidence of all of that in my reality is not that difficult. And when you look for the evidence and you focus on the evidence of it in your physical reality, you will find that, like, it reflects back more and stronger, because that is what you are emitting. You are emitting that abundance. You are being that abundance. And that idea of flow, like I was saying, like work coming to me and through me, that is powerful, especially when it comes to money. That is a really good way to manifest money, feeling the energy of money supporting you. Money is always there for you, okay? Money has always been there for you every time that you've needed to buy something. Because every time that you have purchased something, money has flown through you. And of course, there's been times where money maybe hasn't been there for you. And if you right now are hearing that and you're like, money is not there for me, money does not support me, then the rest of this is probably not, the rest of this money part is not going to resonate with you, and that's fine. But I'm just talking about like what has worked well for me recently to manifest like just unexpected money is feeling that feeling of abundance flowing through me, supporting me, and then me being grateful for it. Like, thank you for always being there every time I need you. When I need to buy groceries, when I need to pay my electric bill, when I need to, like, give someone a hand with something financially. Like, money has always been there for me. And it always will be there for me because it's an energy. So think of it as an energy, not something that's, like, only physical. It's something that, like, will flow through you and will hold you and allow it to. And then allow... Like, money wants to move. Money wants to go places. Money doesn't want to be tied down, okay? Money is your, like, very fun mistress that wants to see the world. And so, as you, spend money, money will continue to flow through you because it knows that it is going to move through the world. Like, like, you are going to continue to cycle it and circulate it. And, it's supporting you as you do that. So it's like, it's one of those like visitors that comes all the time, but you're always sending it out to do other things too. And it's always supporting you and happy to support you to do that. It doesn't want to sit in your wallet. It doesn't want to sit in the bank. It wants to move, and it's going to keep coming to you as you allow it to keep moving. That's something I've been playing around with a lot lately. And it's, like I said, it's worked for me. It's not going to work for everybody because these sort of things, manifestation, conscious creation, the way that you look at it, like, it's going to be different person to person. There might be methods I use that suck for you. There might be methods you use that suck for me. And there's no hard and fast rule to how you have to manifest, to how you have to create things. And that's what's really cool about just the nature of the universe and the nature of reality is, like, we are the universe experiencing itself. And there's an infinite number of ways that that's happening at all times, which is really fucking cool. Because there might be methods that I talk about that inspire a new method for you. There might be methods that someone else talks about that inspires a new method for me. Like, I've listened to podcasts that have totally inspired my ideas, or my beliefs in, like, reality is a lag. Reality is a video game. Like, reality is an algorithm. Like, particularly Jessa Reed and then things that Bruce Lipton have said have really, like, put that in my belief system. And it's benefited me. So when it comes to this stuff, listen to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books, keep your mind open because you don't know what one little thing a person can say that will spark a new insight in you that will work for you really, really well. And if something doesn't work for you really, really well, don't do it. If meditation is not your thing, don't do it. If journaling is not your thing, it's not really my thing. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. I don't journal every day. I don't need to. I don't like doing that. I don't like that structure. I'm structured in the way that I eat the same meal every day, and I like my morning routine, and I like my nighttime routine, but outside of that, I don't want structure. I need to be able to move freely throughout the day, and that's why I like my job so much, and that's why anyway. Back to the throat thing. So yesterday, when I was in my meditation, because you guys know I'm doing 30 days of meditation, you can follow that journey along on TikTok. The insights are fucking insane that I've had with that lately, the last couple of days. I've also taken a little hiatus from, like, any alcohol, which I know people do, but just to kind of, like, give my body a break. Not that I was going hard all the time, but, like, give my body a break and see what that does for me spiritually. And my meditations on the nights that, like, I have taken the break, or the days that I've taken a break the night before, have been a lot clearer, a lot better, a lot easier to understand. So that's something that I'm keeping in mind. My relationship with alcohol is definitely shifting as I'm changing into, like, a different timeline, and that's fine. And it will always continue to shift, just as anything does. I'm talking about the throat thing, though. I keep going away from that. In my meditation yesterday, I felt my throat starting to bug me again. And I was like, I need to dig into why this is happening, because there's a reason, and I'm picking up on something somehow, and I don't, like, if it's happening, like, it happened last Wednesday, now it's happening or it happened last Tuesday or Wednesday, and now it's happening, like, on a Tuesday, because today is Wednesday when I'm recording. It's Thursday. Oh my God, guys, I don't know what day it is. What's time? asked for guidance. I was like, I need to figure out why my throat is bothering me, because there's just it's something more than like allergies. It just felt different. So I was guided for the second day in a row to go into the Akashic Records, which I don't do. Like, I've done, but it's not something I do often. So I was like, that's weird. Okay. So I go into the Akashic Records and I ask for guidance on myself and to understand myself and to know myself better and all that. And I was taken to a time where, like a timeline, a lifetime. Timelines and lifetimes. I gotta go off on a tangent again. So sorry. All realities exist at all times, like colonial times, medieval times, future times, past times of our lives. It's all happening at the same time. So a past life is actually just you in a different reality, and you might be in a different body. Keep that in mind. So I went to a time where it was a colonial time. It seemed sort of Salem-esque, sort of like witchy time, but I'm really not sure. I was killed for speaking up. I was a woman. It doesn't feel like a witch thing, but it very well could have been. I didn't feel like a witch. It didn't feel like I was like doing things like necessarily like that. But then again, back then they were just, women couldn't have opinions or talk at all without being called a witch. So I was hung for speaking out, and it was speaking out, and it was like empowering messages. I don't know if it was women's empowerment. I don't know if it was stuff along this lines. It was stuff that people did not want other people to know. For whatever reason. Maybe I was a gossip. I have no fucking idea what it was, but I was killed for it. And that energy is picking up now because I've been very vocal on like my podcast, and I've been very vocal on TikTok about, like, I post videos on TikTok every day about stuff like this. And that fear, that guilt, that worry is coming up in this timeline now. So like, I'm not living that life, but that energy of that fear of speaking up too much has started to come up. So that is something that I'm working through right now. And it's just interesting to like have access to that sort of thing. Like that's cool. And you know, maybe I made it all up. Maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. I truly believe that like what I see in my meditations does happen. And so I'm going to roll with that. But yeah, that was my throat story. So I'm working through that. And there is fear that I have about talking a lot about this stuff because I'm like, I'm speaking a lot. Like I literally just posted an Instagram reel about taking time to like sit and receive instead of just pushing out so much energy to create. And like someone commented something, I don't know, I blocked the person immediately. Like the comment didn't really like, I don't really give a fuck what, like I get shit on Instagram every once in a while. I just block the people and move on. It's like, and that's fine. But the person said something like, this is what happens when liberalism, they say liberalism causes mental illness. And this girl is like the poster child for that or something. And I was almost going to comment and be like, that doesn't even make sense because I'm not even a liberal. But then I was like, no, I don't need to prove anything to this person. I just need to block them and move on. But that fear came up and I was like I feel it in my throat when that happens. And I'm like, it feels very constricted, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say things, maybe I shouldn't, but it, like, right now the video has, like, almost 5,000 views, so I'm like, no, this has to, like, even if one person hears it, because, like, my one listener on the podcast, hey, what up, nice to talk to you, it's just me, talking to myself, even if it helps one person, that's fine. I don't need it to be anything crazy. I just like sharing this stuff because I've benefited so much from other people sharing what they've learned and like what's true for them, and it's helped me learn new things that are true for myself and things that aren't true for myself. And again, that's just being the universe, all experiencing itself and unfolding on itself over and over and over again in an infinite number of ways. But to like continue and kind of wrap up, I guess, like I said, there are the timelines that we're living in, they're all happening at the same time. So shifting, using the film strip method maybe, of just feeling that, like, I literally feel it like click, 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 until my, like, I feel like my, like, auric field or my being or whatever, like, I feel it, like, shifting and vibrating, and it feels really cool. And, that's when I'm like, okay, this is a time where I can start gradually shifting. Like, I'm here now. What feels like a step further? What feels a step further? What feels a step further? Until it's like a gradual, like, okay, I am the being now that is experiencing everything looks exactly the same, except I am feeling like empowered. I'm feeling safe. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. And that's what I've been playing around with lately, just to see, because I know that reality exists. I know that, and that's a thing to, like, make sure that, like, you believe that all those realities exist. If you don't believe that yet, if you don't have that belief, then this method probably won't work for you. But I do believe that all realities are existing at one time, because I don't think that time is linear. I don't believe that. I believe that it is all happening at one time. And it's vast and it's huge, and I love thinking about how gigantic the universe is and how gigantic life is and how there's, like, no ending to things. That's how I was able to shift. And that's how I think I'll probably use the idea of shifting, just, like, because allowing myself to, like, yeah, everything can look exactly the same, except maybe I have more money. How does that feel? Except maybe I don't know, that money for some reason has been coming up a lot for me lately. I don't have, because I just, like, want to see what it's like to experience extra abundance. Right now I'm at comfortable abundance, where, like, I have more than enough money to live the life that I live, but I want, like, more than enough money just to see what that feels like. But then again, as I'm saying that, like, I know that money is energy, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the physical money. It only has to do with the feeling behind it. So I need to play around with that more and shift around with that more. Anyway, today was a 20-minute episode. I'm so proud of myself, because usually I knock out at like 12, but I had a lot to say today. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it inspires you. I hope it gives you new ideas. If you have any reading requests or ideas, things you want to share. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. If you want a little, like, Akashic session for just, like, guidance, email me, because I'd like to do, like, a couple little ones for people. I want to try it out a little bit. So definitely shoot me an email so we can check that out, because I want to play around with that a little more. Okay? Questions, emails, whatever, everything can go to abacadabrapod@gmail.com. That's in the show notes, of course. All right, until next time, this is Abby, signing off.